So, all right, now I had my agenda out here and I lost it. Here it is. So we do have a quorum. Minutes from November 10th meeting. That's Paula was in Florida having fun. So
good for you, Paula.
Yeah, we did have fun.
Yeah, good. I honestly forgot to write them up. So I guess I'll have to write those up and have them for our next meeting. So
Mark, excuse me, why don't you leave your notes with those papers I have to pick up tomorrow and I'll type them up.
okay, I'll try to remember that too, Paula, because
Yeah, at least you got the recording to go off of, you know.
yes, right. Yeah, we do. So, but yes, I'll do that. So, bills. We have a whopping $30 Western Mass Electric bill, or Eversource, and a $4.88 bill. So those are.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I was able to order those hand dryers.
Yes.
And Ed helped me out, and we got 2 of them, and we ordered them directly from the company, and they actually came out around. I have the invoice. It came out around $700.
Okay.
So did you get a copy of the bill, or does he just handle that directly because it's CARES Act funds, or?
Right. Oh, Sonia's here. Oh, that's great.
Hey, Sonia.
How you doing? How you
Hey, your eyes are looking great.
Well, yeah, I go like this to see anything, but yeah.
Well, good. So honestly, I believe that goes directly to Ed to pay out of the CARES Act account. So,
Okay.
Yeah, I have not seen that bill.
Oh, okay. Just yeah.
So
Did you want me to forward you a copy, or does it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be good.
I'll do that. So forward copy.
That would be good, and then I can make sure that
they're sitting in town hall right now, as far as I know.
Right. Yeah. So the next thing on that was, after we, of course, pay the bill, but so I don't repossess them, but is to contact an electrician that did the work at the pavilion before for fixing the power. Blanchard and Daly.
Oh yeah.
Bob Cody, and get on his radar to get them installed over the winter. So I will do that.
What's that get paid out of, Mark? Just out of curiosity, we have.
That will come out of the Conan Park pavilion account, because that's improvements to the through the pavilion. So that'll come out of that account.
We can't spend any of the last CARES Act money to have them installed. Is that?
Well, that's true. That's true, Dan. Yeah, you're right. So you're right.
I only spent $700, and I think there was $1,500. So I guess they could install them for $700. I think that's a reasonable price. But
yeah, that's a good point.
By the end of the year, and if Ed,
oh yeah,
if Ed says that qualifies for the payment for the CARES fund, I mean, just to.
Oh, so okay, so that ends on the 31st of the month.
Yep.
Yeah, so that may be an issue. So I'll have to speak to Ed about that. Or maybe you can, Dan, about getting them installed. Can we use the CARES Act to use funds to install them?
Yep, I'll send them an email.
And then hopefully I can get them installed before the 31st and build out. So with the holidays, and I know he's straight out with stuff.
Yeah, it's a tough time to ask people to get things done.
Right.
Well, maybe we could just pay them and tell them we want the work done later. I mean, they're certainly a company you can trust.
Yes. Yep.
Mhm.
Correct.
I think they could bill us.
They'd
Right.
have to invoice us, right?
Yeah, they could invoice us, and that's the key.
Yeah, that's the key. You're right. Okay. Well, if you can send that out, Dan,
Will do.
and then that way.
Yep.
the other thing that I wanted to let you know, we paid Noons for their invoice for the pickleball court. And I'm just looking here for the amount that was paid out. I just got that through that, and also Bill Cannon. And I had a summary. Too many papers here. I had a summary on that expenditure that was just going to be paid this week. So bear with me 1 second.
So we haven't paid Noons in full, right? Yet?
No, we have not. That can go over there. No, we have not.
Because they're gonna have to reseed over there, you know.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they got a lot more work to be done. Son of a gun. It was here. All right, let me try to find that. I got part of the email from Noons. Yeah, long email chains. Okay, so here is the invoice. So William Cannon invoice was for $2,000. One was under the original agreement for $500 for 100% bid documents, and $1,500 for 75 complete on the contract administration. So there's another $500 in that invoice there. So that was paid out.
When was that paid, Mark?
It's going to be paid this week.
Okay.
It's going to be paid on the 10th.
Okay,
I'm sorry, not the 10th, the 16th.
60, okay.
Yeah, the 16th. It was paid on the 16th, Thursday.
Yep. Well, okay.
Noons. Boy, I had this all printed out and everything, so it'd be easy. Was $106,020
Okay.
out of the $124,000. So we do have, about 18,000 left in there, Janet.
Okay, how much did you pay again? I'm sorry.
$106,020.
Okay.
I want to know about that $20.
Yeah, I know. That's what I looked at it too. $20. What the heck?
Because we pay them for the surfacing and stuff, as well as we deal with them for the company that's doing the surfacing in the spring.
Right.
So that's left to be done, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's all part of their bid. So that's all under Noons.
Okay.
Yes. So that's going to be paid also on the 16th. All right. That takes care of that part.
Could I make a motion that we cover the open time of the public? Because I think Dylan is here to address a specific item, and that
Sure.
would allow him to move on with his life.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't have an issue with that.
He's running for parks next year, so maybe.
Oh, he is.
Good.
Apparently, I'm running for Park School Committee, Select Board.
Select Board.
Wow.
I'm told I'm not running.
No.
I'm told that's what I'm running.
Dylan,
So-
not next year, the year after the
Oh,
next.
you're right. I'm sorry. You're right.
So yeah, Dylan, go ahead.
Thank you. Hey, first, congratulations on the splash pad. Super excited about that. And you're growing your portfolio of property that is within your purview now, officially Parks Department. The issue I was coming on today about is after thinking about the splash pad and the summertime aquatic usage is one of the signs that's faded on the Conan Park Pavilion that says ice skating. And my thought is what would it take to get that pond that's at Conan Park back to a position where we could have ice skating and bonfires again in the winter. I don't know if there's an infrastructure issue with that, if it's merely it needs to be cut and cleaned and pruned and landscaped, or if there's liability issues or why that practice ended, and kind of wanted to go into that and what we could do to make that potentially a doable thing again.
Sure. So twofold. It was only a small depression that was out there that they used to flood. It wasn't anything defined in any great deal. So over the years, we've done improvements. One being just the pickleball court that affects part of that area, and secondly, there's a small toddler playscape over there that is also probably just touching that area. I don't foresee that getting reestablished. What has occurred, though, at Labrie Field, when you drive in on the left-hand side, there's a stormwater depression on the left. And people have been using that to ice skate and play hockey and other activities over there. And I see that as a more viable option. It's larger for one thing in size. I think right now people are just, going over there and shoveling it off and using it.
Oh, is it already frozen?
Yeah, not with 60 degrees tomorrow.
I was surprised because my sister has a backyard. They built an ice rink and their ice isn't frozen yet. So
No. In the past, I'll rephrase it.
Not this year, Dan, but previous years.
Yeah, previous years.
Oh, okay.
It will be, I'm sure. Next
February.
week. I don't know. I saw the news tonight and it's supposed to be like 18 degrees a couple of days at night next week. So it's going to get cold, unfortunately. So I think, Dylan, we don't have a program to have the highway department go in there and plow it or maintain it. It's kind of informal, and we don't have an issue with people going over there and using it, as far as my concern is, and the other board members can speak to it too.
Yeah, that's actually, when you look at the Labrie Field map, that area is designated. It says like skating rink or something along those lines.
Right.
So that was the intention in the design of the park, to use that area.
It's not designated to anybody else except on the plans. Is that the deal? It's not labeled skating rink or anything like that, right?
Correct. No, it's not. Original plans had that, but there's no sign that says skating area or anything like that.
Is there a hydrant over there? Do you know? Is there a fire hydrant at Labrie Field, or is that?
There's one across the street in that area. There is a hydrant, but it's further, quite a ways away.
Okay.
There is one there. I believe it's on the opposite side of the street.
I was thinking if some industrious volunteers got permission from the fire department to access the hydrant to surface the ice, but that's another conversation.
Right. Yeah. So that, and also the water department would have to give authorization on that.
Right. Okay, cool. But no, I didn't realize it was up at the top part of Conan. For some reason, I had envisioned it being at that catchment pond down below, kind of in between the two. But that makes sense the way you explained it.
Right.
So thank you for clarifying that.
Right.
Cool. And Labrie, hey, that sounds utilize multiple parks. I'm all on board with that.
Well, I guess the question is, how do we isn't there a culvert that has to be dammed up in order for that skating area to fill with water, right?
Yeah, I mean, there is one, but it naturally has a low point to it that you don't have to do anything to it. Okay,
even without doing anything, it'll.
I'm sure. I'm sure if you went over there today, there's water standing in it, and you just got to shovel it off if we get snow. and when we get snow.
Have we ever recruited a group of volunteers for a project like that? Through the parks or?
The kids do it. The neighborhood kids do it a lot.
Yeah, right.
I'm around in that, and you know, they do it. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the kids do it, and yeah,
Okay.
No one has, assigned themselves to doing it.
yeah, right. So, but yeah, I mean, if you have a group, maybe you could, start something up. I know across the street on some private property, they have a large skating area, the Hatchapetros, and they're passionate and use
Yeah,
it.
that I've seen AHL rinks that don't have that level of sophistication.
Right. Yeah, I know. It is great. It is great that, right. It is. So I'm sure a lot of kids just go over there and use that too.
Yeah.
Is that the house on the corner of, what's the street? Is
Like
that-
Road extension.
Extension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brickyard Road Extension.
Yeah, Brickyard, right? With
And the house is
big
just
square.
down on Brickyard
Yeah.
Road Extension.
I was wondering what that was. So that's their skating rink.
Yeah,
I think
that's a
my
skating-
kids were plastered to the car window the first time we drove past it. Did you do that, Dad? Oh.
Yeah, right. Right.
Cool. Well, thanks. That was it. I was going to bug about the playground stuff, but I see it's on the agenda, and I'll harass Dan at another date.
Hey,
Right. Well, that's something that we really want to do.
Mhm.
We're going to have to go back and beg for CPA money again
Well,
for town meeting, but it's available. So, and it's something that's well needed and overdue. So,
it definitely sounded like there was support for it at the meeting. There was a lot of comments about, listen, this is step one, but the playground equipment really needs it as well. So
right.
yeah, and there's different grants which we can apply for that. So
great.
Yeah, Dylan, what playground equipment were you referring to?
Oh, the
At Conan
death
Park?
trap, the Conan Park death trap.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
across
yeah.
the
Yeah,
bridge. Yeah, that playground equipment.
Is that, where is it on? I'm just looking to see where it is on the,
It's the last item just before
Okay.
new business.
okay. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I've been talking to Kate Brooks about a bit, and cool. I'm glad to see things are moving forward. I'd love to stick around, but unfortunately,
Sure.
I got to roll. But thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it and appreciate your support last night. And next time, if you want to interrupt us, that's fine. We're not. We have an open meeting.
Thank you. I like my Robert Rules of Order, so I keep the procedure.
All right. Well, have a great holiday.
Thanks, everyone. You as well. Take care. Bye now.
So, first item is signs. So I know Dan got some more information about
yeah, I'm
Conan
kind of
Park sign.
Yeah, the Conan Park sign. So, the sign manufacturer, her name is Lindsay. She, so, where's the last status? Let me read it to y'all. I know I had emailed the group it.
Yeah.
Niihawk signs. She was asking about the Conan Park sign because I guess the material she got in for the other signs was pretty. I don't know why, but it had some divots in it, and she had to do a lot of refinishing. So she was like, "Well, it's just easier for me if I'm kind of doing them all at the same time, all of the signs." So she had given us a quote for the Koenig Park sign, which basically would match I'd say the overall design of the two other sign types that we had made for Labrie and for Crossroads. So that's one question, and then she also just reported on our status of our current sign order. So I'm trying to find that.
So my notes are that based on the quotes that she provided to us back in November 10th, that the Labrie Field sign, Crossroads Park sign, and the brackets and the posts and items and so forth, with you picking it up, Dan, and the highway department installing it, was $4,000, 86 cents, $86.26. So CPA, we had requested $6,000.
Oh,
So in my mind, we have funds to do it. The only issue is that when we requested that money, it was for, Labrie Field and Crossroads. I don't know if we can add another sign to it without checking with Ed. But we have the funds to do that. Each sign was, because it would be a single-sided sign, would be, I would assume, roughly $1,240, plus the brackets for $300 and the PVC pipes and so forth. So, it would be, maybe $1,600 below. So that would keep us below the $6,000 figure. So I'd feel comfortable pending approval from Ed, whether we could make a motion to order the
Conan Park. I'm just looking at the Conan Park sign quote. Single-sided. It was. Let me add it all together because it included all the parts. So calculator. It is. Bring on it. Plus the brackets, 300.
Yep.
Plus the post sleeves and the bases and all that good stuff. So it comes out to $19.63 and 13 cents.
Okay.
For that sign.
1,963.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I mean, that would put us, just over our budget. So I would think that we could use our budget and find some monies within our existing accounts to pay for the, shortages of probably less than $100.
Mark, do you have a printout or anything of what we have on our accounts? I'm just curious. I have no idea what.
I've been asking Ed for that. I did get an email earlier this evening with a spreadsheet from our new town accountant. And honestly, I haven't had a chance to look at it. So I may have it and I may be able to send it along to everyone.
Okay, great, thank you.
But I know there's $6,000 allocated from CPA for the signs.
Right. I'm just curious on our own.
Yeah, right.
As issues come up in the future,
Right.
water usage and stuff like that. So
Correct. I just deposited another, my last check from SYA of $1,181 today. So all the users are paid up and deposited into our account. So, but I'll be looking at that, and if I can email it to people.
thanks.
So that's the signs. I don't know if people want to consider that.
Yeah, I mean, can I make a motion that we move forward with the Conan Park signs?
Can I second the motion? Do we have to ask in the form of a question?
I guess the reason I'm asking in the form of a question is, do we have the money? I'm not sure. That part was confusing to me.
We have to ask Ed if we can use that money for a different park.
Yeah, I would say subject to authorization or approval from Ed to be able to use it for Conan Park. I think that's a fine motion to make.
Yeah, the way you said it. I'll make the motion the way he said it.
You got that, Paula?
Got that.
Okay,
And I'll still second the motion.
okay. So all in favor?
I
Jane, aye.
All right, great. That would be good because it's long overdue too. The park grant, like we had talked about earlier, was approved at town meeting last night. I did send just earlier some regulations on the from the sanitary code, chapter 5.
Yep.
It was brought to my attention this afternoon when I was in town hall that we may be required to file under this regulation.
Yeah, I would hope that whoever designs it would be able to answer that question. I know that, I think when we met with water, Paula, they brought up, or so one of the meetings, maybe it was when Jim was with us, talked about needing to have a shower and.
Right.
Yeah.
So I scanned through it quickly, and one of my biggest concerns is that we have to have two things. One, the discharge from the splash pad has to be connected to a public sewer system, which Southampton doesn't have, or a septic system that is designed to handle the amount of flow from the splash pad. So right there, if we had to put a septic system in, there's no way it's going to happen at Conan Park. The soils are too heavy.
Yep.
So the question is, can it happen at Labrie Field? My concern is that's an awful lot of water to infiltrate into the ground. I'm not sure, Dan, to be honest with you. I'm a little concerned with that requirement if we
Yep.
have to follow through that. So that's something to really look at.
for
And the
sure.
and the other thing is that it has to have handicap accessible bathrooms.
hmm
There's a whole section on bathrooms.
And we don't have those at Liberty Field either, right?
Not yet, but my brainstorm last time when we met was maybe we can, get the bathrooms installed using our funds for Labrie Field improvements and kill two birds with one stone. So we would have, the bathrooms and a septic system over there.
That's true. Yeah. Maybe.
If
Yeah.
it's possible.
We have to. We'll have to think about what is feasible, right? But
Yep.
what can we actually accomplish with this? There may have to be some tweaks, and hopefully we have that ability to go back to the park grant people and be like, to make this within our town a possibility, we have to do X, Y, and Z. And
Right.
they would. I don't know if that's
Yeah,
possible.
right.
We'll see.
Right. But I did see that under this regulations that I sent out, under definitions, there is no definition for a splash pad.
Yeah, that was my question, because it's not a water, it's not
Right,
a pool of any sort, wading
Right.
pool or.
right. So that's the gray area, whether the Board of Health here in Southampton or the state can mandate that it meets these requirements. I don't know.
I know, Cindy had brought that up at one point, and I certainly would be willing to get back in touch with her again
Okay,
and have her send us an email as to how it's been handled in other towns.
okay.
Other towns without,
Yeah, sewer systems.
Don't have septic systems and that kind of thing, or sewer.
Yeah, right. Okay, so if we could do that, I think that's an important role. We have to have a professional engineer design it.
so does that mean we need to put together an RFP to put out?
Correct. So then, because I'm sure the design costs are going to be over $10,000,
Yep.
so that we need to go out to bids.
So, just a question for the pickleball courts. We kind of had we wrote an RFP and kind of went through this process, right? So that kind of at least gives us an example of the process we need to follow to make this happen. Or
Well, the pickleball courts were a little easier because we were lucky enough to get Bill Cannon to keep it under $10,000.
okay.
So all we had to get is reasonable quotes, and so
We
that,
didn't have to do a formal bid for that.
Right.
So
Oh,
yeah, there's a whole other process.
so if we, hypothetically, if we asked Bill Cannon and he said something less than $10,000, we could just use him? Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, but he's not a professional engineer.
Oh, he's got to have that. I didn't understand that part.
he
I
doesn't
believe.
do everything.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Maybe
So, yeah.
get a couple.
Yeah. So again, I haven't read through the whole regulation yet, but yeah, my first glance at it, it has to be a professional engineer, and he's not one. So that's something else we have to deal with.
And maybe, I know Dylan last night mentioned a few places. Was it Westfield? I mean, I know Easthampton, like maybe they can give us resources that they've used in the past of
Yeah.
professional engineers and.
Right.
And Cindy, I know, put that splash pad in too. And that playground, I'll ask her about that too, because I believe when I was talking to her a year or two ago, she told me that you would not need to have an engineer actually do the plans, that she could do the plans.
Yeah. Okay.
So I will check with her on that also.
Okay. Good.
I just want to make sure that how do I say this? I don't know about nepotism or anything. I just want to make sure that we get I think it doesn't hurt to get a couple quotes, and we've got a lot of challenges, it seems like, to make this happen. So
No, I agree. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and we're going to have to because of the cost.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, of course.
Can I
It's just that she does know it because she has put in so many.
Yeah.
That, hey, she's a good resource for
Oh,
the information.
And I would hope that she would win off, just so.
Can I ask what the vote was? What was it? I mean, what was the numbers? Who was the number against for? Do we know what that was?
It was a 2/3 vote, right? And they only voted the negatives. So the
Correct.
negatives were around under 30 people.
Right.
Oh.
They were against it. And there was a good turnout. I don't know how many were at last night's meeting, but I was surprised how many people were there.
Yeah, there
So
were.
it was really a small negative vote
Wow, that's great.
against it. So, yeah.
That's really good.
So,
But it was also the vote on the accessible walk path. I mean, I think we were able to pull in a lot of different people because it covered a lot of bases, which was
Mhm.
helpful.
so here
And
comes-
we're not allowed to do we're not allowed to do just one and then the money runs out. We have to do both the path and the splash park, or the water park was a big part of it because it was that whole
right.
water thing.
Yeah. Dan's just coming back on, but
Yeah, I don't know what happened. My connection just went away. But I'm back. Sorry.
you didn't pay your bill.
I paid it real quick.
Yeah, I believe that's true, Sonia. We just can't use the 200,000 for the pathways, or vice versa. Can't use 200,000 for a splash pad. I think it's got to be both. But we need some definite clarification on that. 'Cause
Is that how you understand it also, Dan?
I think we need to go back and look at the wording for the design or development phase of the project to see how the funds were divided, because they must have been divided between the path, which has different criteria for what type of engineer or person who can design it versus a splash pad.
Sure.
So I'd say that if I were going to rate which one has a higher probability of making it all the way through, obviously the walking path is pretty straightforward, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I almost want to split them into two projects if that's the way it's set up, so that we guarantee at least one win out of this.
I
Right.
agree. I totally agree with that.
After all that work, let's get at least something out
Yeah.
of this.
Oh, I agree. Agreed 100%.
So
So that's probably a conversation with the person from the state
or probably just the grants people.
The grant people. Yeah,
The
right.
grant people.
Yep.
They know it so much better than I do.
Yeah, so the design plan itself would have to include both aspects, right? I mean, not just the splash pad, but how the splash pad and the walk path would walk. And that's one design for the program? Is that how it would go for an RFP?
I think that we wanted 2 separate RFPs.
Yeah, I gotta talk to Ed about that, how that's gonna work.
Because I think I don't think we may not have to do an RFP for the walking path, because the cost of a landscape architect or the person that would do that is going to be much less than $10K.
Right.
So I don't think it will require an RFP. It's the splash pad that's going to require this is the engineering, the principal engineer. So.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some good comments. I know Sunye wasn't there last night, of concerns. I mean, part of it was, the infringing upon the pavilion, just the overall design of Conan Park. I mean, what is kind of like the master plan for the park? We're doing chunk by chunk by chunk, and there's no, master plan to really address that. So open space, there was that. I'm trying to think what else was brought up as the ongoing cost, to try to get that addressed, so it's no surprise at the end. So I think, if we get a quote, I don't know how we address all those aspects, but I think
I truly hope, I wish, and this is just my thoughts, and it doesn't really it's just a thought of one person, so I understand that. But I think that we need to, Janet, you've done great with that pickleball court. You've come in, you've got it, and it's going to get finished. But the parks in general, we've had a hard time finishing things, and it would be lovely if we were to be able to phase this in 2 different phases. And what you're saying too, Dan, I think that the path is the easiest one, and we do get a win. We get a complete win out of it, at least, where the other one just is not that it can't happen and not that it won't happen, but there's a lot of little hiccups. And
any little one could throw it off.
It could, just like with the whole Labrie, just the pricing of lumber has thrown that into a little kink, and that was nothing that we can control, but it still looks like we've done nothing, and it's hard. And so,
Sure.
I'm thankful for you for the signs. I think that's great.
I'm the sign guy.
Yeah, yes, you've done a very good job. And I would love to see this project and being broken up into chewable, biteable pieces that we can, finish.
So I here's the approach I recommend. I would actually say with the success we've had with Bill Cannon, we first ensure that we can break it in the design phase funding into 2 parts. One, the design of the walking path and the design of the splash pad, and we approach Bill. Once we've determined that is something we can do, then we approach Bill Cannon, ensuring that it is obviously below 10K, and see if he's willing to work with us. If he's not, we'll find somebody else. I'm sure we can find someone for under 10K for that project. In the meantime, we'll start preparing an RFP. Back to the statement of if we can break it up into 2.
I think that's what we have to find out. And
Right.
And I do think, in talking with Chris Fowles a little bit and Melissa from the Parks grant program, that they both recommend, and maybe Dan, you heard this when you met with them, that we get a master plan for Conan Park before we really move forward with any additional projects in Conan Park.
I actually already messaged Chris Fowles about that today because she's on the grant committee to talk about what grants could apply for making that park master plan.
Recommending CPC funds to try to do that before we go, even with the playground.
Did she say CPC? She said something else, some letters I didn't understand, some acronym. I was like, I don't know what that means. She said
the simplest way to get master plan
CPS. Oh, CPS. She must have meant CPC. That must be what you meant.
Yeah.
Because I mentioned the DLTA program through PVPC, which would be good, but
Well, I got a quick message from her. She said that the simplest way to get a master plan done, in her opinion, would be through CPC from a grant perspective, or through CPC. Then having the funds, you could perhaps approach PVPC for a consultant for 6 to 8 months to assist in putting it together.
Mhm.
You know, with focus groups and stuff. So,
right. At one point I asked Ken Comia, what was his estimate? Geez, I wonder if I still have that email. I feel like it was I'm not going to guess. I got to find the email.
if we're going to look for state funding for the playground at all, state grant funding, and not just CPC, then, and maybe we don't, then we should really look into more of a master plan for the park.
Right.
And Dan, I'd be surprised if you can break it up, but the grant up.
I'm going to hope.
I hope too.
I hope too, but
Yeah, I know.
we have to turn the rest of the money back, but I mean, that would be a good win, a good start.
No,
Yes.
I agree. If we could break it up, that would be the best. And I agree that we need to finish something project. And we're going to finish the pickleball court in the spring, but we need to finish some other ones.
Yeah.
My wife says, you still got all this stuff on your agenda that you haven't completed yet.
But they call it a working agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
What was your point?
Yeah. Is this one of those Zooms that's going to run out at 45 minutes?
Yeah, well, it's going to be soon. I probably got another 10 minutes before
Okay.
I've got to go. So anyways, let's march forward.
It's a town Zoom, so no, it doesn't run out of.
Oh,
No, it doesn't. Yeah, it's a
okay.
town
Thank
Zoom.
you.
It doesn't run out. So even if you want to keep discussing things, I think I can minimize it, and you can keep going. And Dan and I have to back off. That's all. Pickleball court we talked about. That's ongoing. The angel statue at Crossroads. I talked to Jackie Sears. We have one more paver with 4 names on it. It's hopefully going to get installed by the weekend. So that's we had some people that have paid their money for the plaques, and they're saying how come they're not in there. So we're trying to get it installed before the holiday.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's going to happen. The Conan Park and Labrie Fields and user applications, I think that's just an ongoing thing that we just need to finalize that over the winter for the policy and get that set. The same applies to kind of the Labrie Field house, the field house, and which way we go with the grant and the splash pad, whether we can work the 2 projects together, which would be good, so that the users don't have to have Santa cans anymore. That would be huge. Master plan, open space and rec. I don't know if there's any updates on that.
No, there really wasn't anything.
Yeah, pertaining to parks, no.
Okay. We talked about the COVID-19 funds, right? So yeah, we have $1,650 for the new signage, and so we got some money left over in it, Dan. So yeah, if you can talk to Ed about that, that would be great.
Will do.
All right. Anyone else have anything else to bring forward, or?
I just, again, I know I get a couple more months to be a newbie where I can still ask questions and claim I'm a newbie. I don't know the answer.
Oh, you can always do that.
There was a 6-month rule where I worked.
6
Okay?
months.
Question about Community Preservation Committee. So I kind of researched who makes up the committee. And I see there's a slot that's supposed to be filled by the Parks Commission. And I'm just curious why we don't have representation on the Community Preservation Committee. And quite honestly, the other day, someone was referred to as the ex officio Parks Commission representative who doesn't support any of our projects that we put forward. So, you know, I mean, if we're like housing has a representative because there's housing money, we're
Sure.
parks. So I guess so again, I'm new, so I don't know if we.
Janet, are you on that committee?
No, I'm on the, I will be on the cost efficiency committee that's coming up though. So.
Oh, I thought you were volunteering there.
No, I was volunteering you, Dan, but I mean, I think it's important. Like the other night when this whole issue was going up, they were very upset that there was nobody there from Parks. So I got a text message and I ended up showing my face, but I you know, that's about all I could do and listen to.
Where at CPC?
Yes, at CPC when they were voting on the wording of the article.
Oh,
And so I looked it up and it is made up of various members of various committees, boards and commissions, and Parks is one of them.
okay. Well, I think in the past we had Randall Kemp be our representative because he was taking the maintenance and he was on it. But I don't see any reason why if somebody can't devote some time to it, that, you know, we can't have that changed or have a representative.
Oh, I would love to talk with my buddy Bob.
Okay, yeah, right.
Me and him are good. Actually, we get along really well. It's funny, but yeah. So yeah, I would do. I would nominate myself.
Well,
So,
I was
yeah,
already going to nominate you, Dan, but I just didn't know the history, so I didn't. You know, I always try to walk gently, and I usually,
Sure.
you know, fall on my face instead. But I just was curious as to why we did. Nobody from this commission was there to represent our interest.
Yep. Well, you can make a motion to have Dan represent the Park Commission on the CPC.
I would make that recommendation. I would make that motion.
I mean, I guess I shouldn't have stepped up if someone else wanted to do it. I don't want to be greedy if someone else is like really interested in doing it.
I don't think you're being
Then
greedy.
we'd all be very happy if you wanted to do it.
Okay, just making sure. You know, I didn't want to be like just because I said it, kind of like I'm gonna do it. Like, you know.
You're so
Paula-
eager.
I thought I heard Paula say she'd be interested in doing it. No?
Yeah.
Paula, is that what you said?
No, that's not what I said. I just think it's fabulous that Dan wants to do this. I would put his name in for everything.
I love you too, Paula.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
well,
so
I'll second that motion.
okay, so all in favor?
Dana?
Hi. Can
I
we talk to his wife first, though, and his daughter?
actually spend a lot of time with my family.
It's
I know you do. I believe that.
This is my.
and it's as long as it doesn't conflict with other your Wednesday night meetings, Dan, you know, but it's only once a
Right.
month and not all year long. So, but I guess somebody would have to also inform the individual that is representing the Parks Commission.
Oh, do they know? Do they know they represent parks? Or are they?
The person that Mark mentions listed under Parks Commission.
Okay,
Oh,
so we'll have to, yeah. We can, I can, I don't know if he's still interested in doing it or not, so I will, I can speak to him. I will write a note for it now. Okay, I will do that.
So could we consider looking at requesting funds from community preservation for a master plan for Conan Park before we take the step with the asking them for a playground again?
Oh, and I would agree with that. That I think we need to do a master plan, and so that we have a
So,
year where we want.
I found the email where I asked Ken Comey just to give me a ROM or a ballpark estimate of cost for that, and he said around $30K. So, just so you know, that's just him giving us a rough estimate, nothing in writing, so of what it would cost.
Wow.
So that's PC, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we'd have to, I think you're better off hiring them for something like that than a DLTA grant that gets kind of, I feel like, woven into their agenda and isn't top priority at all. So working on one for housing, it's, they try to get time to do them, that's, they got pretty busy schedules, but.
Yeah.
So yeah, if we can get an estimate, I guess that would be great. I'd probably, do we have to, does that have to be an RFP, or that's kind of a specialty, right? So if we go for CPA.
Right. I believe, yeah, I think we can get one from them. Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay, next meeting. Get next year's calendar up here on my phone.
Oh my, I know. Happy 2022.
I know, huh? So I think, not to conflict with Dan's meetings, planning board wise, the 12th of January or the 26th of January will be the off week meetings for that.
I'd like to make a motion for the 12th, because I really think if we're going to do an RFP for this, and maybe Ed could join us or something, that we need to get the ball rolling, because that month is going to be over quickly. Not that I'm looking to have more meetings in my life, but.
That's fine. I can do that, and with another Zoom meeting. And yes, let's try to get Ed to attend. I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
January 12th. Perfect. Got it.
Perfect. Good. Well, have a great Christmas and New Year's, everyone, and we'll see you on the 12th.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, everyone.
Yes.
Be safe, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Yes. Be safe. Merry Christmas.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.